It's the 4th of January 1985, 2 o'clock in the morning. Captain Cook and his crew have just had the fight of their lives. No fewer than 3 enemy submarines engaged HMS Trafalgar off the southern coast of Iceland, and no fewer than 3 now rest at the bottom of the North Atlantic. It was the quintessential submarine battle, with 2 foes shooting at shadows on the sonar screen, exchanging volleys of torpedoes at the extremities of effective range in the shallow waters off the coast, where sonar echoes bouncing off the seabed make it difficult to tell who and what is out there in the gloom, waiting to pounce. In the exchange, Trafalgar has gone through virtually all of its torpedo reserves, with the captain relying on a quantity of torpedoes rather than quality to see the job done. Northwood is informed of the success, with a possible 3 Victor submarines sent to the bottom, and Trafalgar changes course to head back to Faslane for rearmament, seemingly in the knowledge that the Soviet attack on Iceland's SOSUS facilities has been thwarted. The general public remains very unaware of this. The SOSUS facilities themselves are in fact explained as being oceanography research centres. It's not unique to the North Atlantic either, with a similar system in place in the Pacific, with both of them being managed by the United States. Established in the 1950s using chains of linked hydrophones, SOSUS represents a huge advantage in the battle to keep track of Soviet submarines, although it has its limitations. The best it can do is give an approximate location of an enemy vessel, but theoretically this is more than sufficient to dispatch aircraft and other assets to the location to begin searching in more detail. The first arrays were established in the Western Atlantic and then later north of Iceland. The United Kingdom had also experimented with fixed sonar arrays, but presumably nothing concrete was ever put in place due to financial concerns. In fact, in 1968, when the United States approached the UK about a joint venture in setting up another array stretching from Iceland to Scotland, it was viewed by the Admiralty as an excellent way to obtain access to what was a very costly program, entirely at America's expense. At this time, the system is a closely guarded secret, with both the US and Royal Navies having little knowledge outside of certain circles of exactly how it works, or even that it exists at all. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said for Soviet intelligence, because even as Trafalgar heads back towards Scotland, a diesel-electric submarine begins offloading its precious cargo of Spetsnaz operatives. The 3 Victor submarines were a diversion, and ultimately a very successful one, even if it came at a great cost. However, the Soviet military is historically very familiar with the arithmetic of sacrifice, and this element of their overall mentality has today gone underestimated by the British and Americans. The war is far from over, though, and this setback for the Allies will be far from a deciding one. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Cold Waters, where there's been a significant gap between this episode and the last one. Multiple reasons for that, mostly real-world related ones, I'm afraid. I hope my rustiness in this episode isn't too bad. Hopefully it won't also get me sunk. That's my main concern, really, more than anything else. Previously, though, I can recall with some accuracy, having reviewed the footage myself as a reminder, we engaged 3 enemy Victor 3 submarines off the coast of Hafen in Iceland and sunk all of them. Used most of our torpedoes in the process because I got incredibly trigger-happy with my torpedoes. Mostly because I thought that the enemy was closer than they actually were. What ended up happening is I ended up firing a whole bunch of tigerfish at an enemy that was pretty much at almost maximum range, which was not a very economical use of warheads, but did get all 3 of them in the end. Unfortunately, it turned out they were not the submarines that were actually conducting the Spetsnaz raid, and therefore we're in a bit of bother, because I think we only have like 3 torpedoes left now, which means that I'm pretty much going to have to go back to Faslane to restock, even if it's only like for a few more to try and make a fight reasonable. Unfortunately, though, they will probably be there and gone by the time we can get back, but we'll give it a try. So I'm going to unpause. Going to head back down here to Faslane and we'll see what happens. I reckon that group up there that just... Pause. That group there that disappeared from our view, I reckon that might have been them. I'm just terribly frustrated that the game decided to send a group of a group of Soviet submarines to the exact same location. I guess they were sweeping on ahead of the commando group to try and, you know, clear the waters, as it were, or, you know, run interference. I don't know. You and your XO proudly send the rest of the crew ashore for some direct days of rest after your outstanding mission performance. I don't think we're going to get days of rest, if I'm honest, but there it is. We have 65,900 submarine tonnage. No merchant tonnage, interestingly enough. I guess that one we sunk didn't count for some reason. But we have sunk 13 submarines. That's a lot of little marks on our Jolly Roger flag, that's for sure. Right, hours in port for rearm and repair. Let's see. Yeah, we do indeed only have. Let's see. Remember the keyboard shortcuts now. Don't even have any noisemakers either. Give me a noisemaker. 10 of those. That would give us 9 hours in port. It's 24 minutes per torpedo, so that would give us 9 tigerfish, 1 moss. Alright, yeah, let's... I'm going to give this a try. I'm going to see if this, you know, is enough to do the trick. Possibly. If they haven't gotten there already. Go, 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 go. Full speed ahead. Bet that's them right there. Or is it? I don't know. They're just hovering. No, I wonder if that was them. They were acting very weirdly, though. They didn't sort of go there and then leave. They went there and then started zigzagging. Which is kind of odd. Which is what made me back off and go, hang on a minute. I don't want to fight another trio of Victor 3s here. Not equipped for that, you know. So, there you go. Continued search for enemy submarines transporting Spetsnaz commandos deemed unproductive. Stand by, wait further orders. Probably going to get a newspaper update. Yep, NATO base hit. Numerous large explosions have erupted in and around Hoffen. It's not Hafen, it's Hoffen. Can't read, apparently. Iceland. At first assumed to be a Soviet air or cruise missile strike, questions arise as several witnesses at the scene confirmed heavy gunfire. NATO spokesman refused to comment on the situation. Security at many NATO allied military installations has been under scrutiny in the light of recent events. In particular, many of the major air and naval bases of Western Europe, which form the backbone of the West's security, have been labelled vulnerable. Well, bother. Recent recon overflights show a large force of enemy landing ships and okay, this could be interesting. Enemy landing ships and surface combatants preparing to sail within 3 days. NavOps believe they will attempt to conduct an amphibious landing at Andoya, Norway. No other units are available, and NavOps is depending on you to intercept and destroy or disrupt this force before the landing occurs. Primary objective is to locate and sink the enemy amphibious landing ships. Secondary objective, locate and sink any escorting vessels if possible. Wow, boy. Andoya, huh? I feel like I might want some missiles for this. But again, I'm not sure if we have time. You know, we're going to need missiles. We're probably going to need harpoons. I don't want to bump into this guy on his way past there. Right, okay. little text glitch there. Oops. Okay. Rearm repair. Let's see. Harpoons. Let's give a go. Give them a go. I remain skeptical of their usefulness, to be honest with you. But I will load 3 of them. 3. Make it 4. And yeah, the rest are going to be tigerfish, I think. I could probably afford a few more than that, actually. You know what? 5 harpoons. That means I could fire like a full volley. I could load a harpoon in every single tube if I wanted to. Oh, you know what we need? We need a few more mosses, don't we? Definitely, if we're going after surface vessels. Yeah, I'll take 4, I think. Cool. That gives us 21 tigerfish, 5 harpoons, 4 mosses. I like it. How's in port 21? I hope we're not late again for this one, though. That's the only problem, but we needed this rearmament. We really did. No two ways about that, I'm afraid. And as you can see on the map, pause it for a second, the SOSUS net has been disabled between Hoffen and the Faroe Islands. Uh-oh. God damn it, I could see it on the map. Yeah, no. Ugh. Discouraged to hear you... Sorry, I think I might have bumped the microphone there. Apologies for that, folks. Discouraged to hear you failed to intercept the enemy landing forces. Failure will be discussed at great length upon your next return to port. Await further orders on this downlink. Cut us some slack, guys. We've been absolute war heroes up until now. Reds ashore in Norway. A successful amphibious assault has been made on Andoya, Norway by Soviet forces, opening yet another front as the enemy continues to gain ground. Immediate questions have been raised as to what should have been done to protect the coastal region of Norway from a sea-based assault. Yes, indeed. Perhaps assigning more than one submarine with, you know, a whole 9 torpedoes on board might have been a good idea, NATO. The loss of Andoya, Norway comes as a massive blow to NATO, so it continues to lose the initiative on multiple fronts. Whether an attempt to recapture Andoya will be initiated has not been commented on by either NATO spokesman or the Pentagon. Okay, so an enemy Oscar or Charlie class cruise missile submarine is attempting to break out through the Denmark Strait in order to attack vital North Atlantic convoys. You must sink it. It is believed to have one or more nuclear attack sub-escorts. Primary objective, patrol area Green 312 northwest of Iceland. Locate and sink the enemy cruise missile submarine. Right. Let's go. Hopefully our luck will change a little bit. 312 up there. The Denmark Strait, a historic bit of ocean up there. To be sure. Alright. Now we wait. Knowing my luck, the game will spawn like 2 units of unrelated submarines at me. But here comes one. We lie in wait for them. There we go, perfect. Our speed is 5 knots. Our depth 15 meters. We shall close to 15 kilometers. Exo status report, all is good. These harpoons are a bit useless now unless we get reassigned to another mission to deal with a surface group, but that's probably unlikely. So we'll just make do. Right.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Okay. Bearing 112 designate Sierra 1. Hello. Towed array.
Con sonar new contact bearing.
Okay.
0, 7,
So we're expecting a missile boat
designated
and
Sierra
escort
2.
on this one.
Make depth 0, dive
Oh
by.
boy, there might be a few. Tell you what. Where are we at? Periscope depth.
1, 2, dive by.
Radar mast.
At 1, 2, dive by.
Let's try and eliminate some unrelated contacts while we're at it, shall we? Yes, like these.
Con sonar master 1 is classified as merchant.
An Amguema. And a trawler. It's an Icelandic trawler. And Sierra 2, we can confirm, is very definitely not a surface ship. Jolly good.
Lower the radar mast.
Put the mast down. And let's figure out what you are, shall we? If there's only one here we can hear, that's not an encouraging sign. But we'll try and figure it out, shall we? Oh gosh, it's not a Sierra, is it? It doesn't. No, it's not. That can't be. It's a bit that line. That line there is just a little too skew-whiff. What about you? Ah, hello. I think that's the one we're after. I think that is a Charlie 2. Bonjour, monsieur.
Con sonar Sierra 2 is classified as submerged.
Yeah,
submarine.
I am quite confident that is a Charlie 2. Now we just got to nail down his location. What are the conditions like? Sea is incredibly deep. And there's no layer or anything like that. Let's take it down. Oh no. 60 meters.
Make depth 6-1, dive I.
We're at pretty much the right angle we want to be at for making the most of our towed array right now.
Come left 2,
Take it
3,
left
4,
a bit, Healer.
9, helm I.
I mean, it seems like he's over here and coming this way. Ish. If I had to guess, he might actually be zigzagging a bit like they like to do, you know? Doing like kind of this. Which means that I would quite like to get... Do what we usually try to do, which is, you know, sort of go back around here, get on his tail, and then shove one up the tailpipe, so to speak. Without him ever knowing we were there.
Steady course.
That'll be my plan, I think.
Come left 2, 3, 4, 5, helm I.
Get that sense of comparison. Doesn't have a towed array, the Charlie 2. So we don't have that to worry about. What I'm mostly concerned about is the fact that he may have an escort here somewhere. He might not have an escort. They might have started sending them out without escorts. The disposition of Soviet submarine forces in the game will actually change as the campaign goes on. You know, they'll start to field less modern vessels and start relying on more old, knackered ones. And they'll send guys out without escorts and things like that. But I don't know at this stage. We did just fail 2 missions in a row, which is quite unfortunate, which means that the campaign points ticker has gone back in the other direction. Which it's not the end of the world by any stretch of the imagination. It just means the campaign is going to be longer because I'm going to have to make those points back. If I'm understanding the way the campaign mechanics work correctly, anyway.
Passing 200 feet.
Alright, let's go time compression. Keep building that solution. Ah, perfect. 95%. He is coming this way for the moment. We are at -10 on passive sensors. And he's... Oh, the little git. He's doing what I hate about them doing. So he's doing the zigzag. He's zigging when I wanted him to zag. Well... means he's headed straight towards us now. The question is, was he zigging or was he zagging when he was coming this way? Is he going to keep going on a path in this direction, or is he going to turn back in a minute and keep going this way? I suppose either way, the smart thing to do would be to keep heading this way, because that gives us the greater likelihood of us actually being able to get out of his way. If I double back now, not only will it take us a while to turn the boat around, but he may swing back this way, and then it will have been a complete waste of time, and then we'll really be in the shit. So,
Helm, steady course.
Go on, mate, turn back left, you know you want to. He is doing it. Needs to be, we'll go down to like 1 knot. And creep along as quietly as possible. I don't want to get involved in a shooting, in a shootout this close to him. That would not be fun. What is he armed with? He has Malachite missiles, which I think is an anti-surface... Yeah, it's an anti-ship missile. He's got the Vuga missiles, which are the standoff ones, yep. What's the NATO reporting name? SSN-15. That's real catchy. He's got set 65 threes, which are quite fast at 40 knots. Maximum depth of only 400 meters, though. Sate 60Ms, which I believe are anti-shipping missiles. Yep. Specifically designed for the self-defense from anti-submarine warfare missiles. Can only lock onto surface targets. Yeah. Bit of a rubbish torpedo, that. As far as I can tell, anyway. And these are the wake-homing anti-ship torpedoes. Which, yeah, Yeah, we don't have to worry about those unless we surface, as it says here. If we end up going on the surface, then actually he could hit us with one of these, theoretically. Although, you ought to get some sort of special achievement for losing your submarine to a wake-combing torpedo, really. The likelihood of that happening is quite small. No, it's the Sec-65s we've got to worry about. Really. Well, that and his missiles, I suppose. And in either case, I think both of them have a max depth of 400 meters. So, yeah. Oh, no, even less, actually. This is a max depth of 238. Must be the predecessor to the Stallion, I reckon, this one. So, yeah. Having said all that about getting into a shootout, actually, if we just go below 400 meters, he can't touch us. So, poor bastard. However, I'm still going to exercise caution. Again, we don't have any confirmation that there isn't another submarine out there somewhere. So we will play this by the book. Try and take him as stealthily as possible, instead of just, throwing caution to the wind and messing about. Frankly. Also be an more economical use of torpedoes as well, because if we can sneak up behind him in his baffles, we'll only require one torpedo to get the job done, as opposed to having to start firing spreads. So keep watching that sensor comparison. I think I might take it to the right a bit now. Got the Anguema going right over the top of us at the moment.
Con, helm, steady course.
You could probably use that, maybe to some extent, to try and mask our signature a bit, if we sort of maintained the right bearing towards the Charlie. But I don't know. I don't know how good, and three-dimensional Soviet sonar actually is. But I know there's certainly something they would do in World War II submarines, is they would try and, use surface ships to actually mask their own sound signature. But then, in World War II they were using very, very basic, hydrophones to listen, instead of, complicated sonar arrays. He is turning this way, but what's he doing? Is he just zigzagging again? I think he is. They like to keep their movement nice and erratic, don't they? I mean, it's smart. Keeps me on my toes, that's for sure. Good grief, we're at 0 now on passive. We can go up to +10 before we're spotted, of course, so...
Come right to 0, 9...
But I don't like going above 0 if I can help it, Just to be on the safe side. There he is. There's the old Charlie. It looks similar to a Victor, just the front end of it is a bit larger. It's got a bigger nose on it, the Charlie, to make room for those missiles. But it's a much less dangerous boat than the old Victor, that's for sure. Mostly because of its armament. It's also slower, I think. Unlike this dangerous, derpy-looking, monstrous creature over here. It might look like a cheeky little cartoon whale, but it's a menace of the high seas. Alright, cool. This really is now just the waiting game, pretty much. Keeping our ears out. How fast is he going right now? I would guess 8 knots. Not 10, close enough. 10, 8 knots-ish. That's kind of the speed they tend to stick to, it seems. Seems to be a good compromise between the speed and ability to sort of listen for threats. On the campaign map, though, of course, we always seem to book it at maximum speed. And I noticed that the speed of your submarine on the stats thing here and in the sim battle view here actually is reflected on the campaign map as well. And I know this because I did a campaign in the Soviet Papa class submarine, which is the fastest nuclear attack submarine ever built, as far as I know. I think it has a top speed of something like 45 knots. It is completely ridiculous. Extremely fun to play in the game, and it moves at the most astonishing rate on the campaign map as a result. It's really quite cartoonishly fast. Because it just seems to book it around at 45 knots on the campaign map constantly.
Con, helm, steady course. Come right to 190, helm I.
Yeah, let's just keep stalking him, keep trying to get behind him into his baffles, and then... yeah. When we're directly behind him, we'll just let rip with a passive torpedo and give him the good news. I think we're about the same depth as well already, aren't we? Yep. Lovely jubbly. But apparently he's diving. Interesting. Should we match that a little bit? Oh, he's coming back up again. Interesting. I've never noticed this before, but he seems to change depth in addition to changing direction. Most of the time, you see, alright, we're in his baffles now, look. Most of the time I'm watching on this screen, because I'm keeping an eye on the sensor comparison, so I don't really notice what he's doing in the 3 dimensions.
Come right to
He's doing twice the speed we are right now, so he is slowly getting away from us, but that's okay.
Helm, steady course.
I'd really like to kind of start making markers on the map here to try and establish his overall course, line of best fit stuff. Remember doing that in school? Wish we had more tools to draw things on the map with. That was one of the things I used to love about Silent Hunter. The map screen and the collection of pencils and protractors and things that you could draw all over the map with. I always thought that was bloody great, that was. In case you're curious, it's shift and left click to put these little markers down. In case you were wondering. Oh, I was trying to go a bit faster. I realised we can't do that until we can't do that. It doesn't let you go higher unless you disengage silent running. Theoretically, it doesn't matter that we're... we don't have to be in silent running right now because he can't hear us at all, but... Now he's turning back this way. So overall, he seems to be kind of just going in this sort of direction right now. Plenty of range to work with, yep. Again, I really wish I could set this as a straight runner, but unfortunately we can't. Take it off time compression and... let's try our luck with this, shall we?
Con, fire control, we've lost the wire.
Goody. Gumdrops. Of course we lost the wire. Right, that's in the hands of the torpedo gods.
Come right to 249, helm I.
Better pick up the pace here. I think we'll go to 10 knots and match him, just so we don't lose any more distance.
0 knots, maneuvering I.
Stored our towed array out. Pretty sure we can have the towed array out 10 knots. There he is. There's our little tigerfish on its way to do the business, hopefully. How do I It's F10 to get rid of the menu. There we go. Nice cinematic shot of the Charlie. I do like the gigantic propellers they put on the back of the Soviet submarines. Big, mean-looking things. We've got a pump jet, I think, on the back of the Trafalgar. The predecessor to the Trafalgar, the Swiftshore, was it's almost exactly the same looking submarine, but with the exception of this in the back. It had a big prop on the back instead of this pump jet arrangement thing here. I believe they're adding all sorts of new British subs into upcoming versions of the mod. If they haven't done so already, because I'm pretty sure my version of the mod at this point is actually a little out of date. But I think they're adding some of the stuff like the Churchills and maybe the Swiftshores and whatnot. Looking forward to playing around with that when the time comes. Although the Trafalgar is probably the best of the bunch. It's probably the newest NATO submarine available in the time frame of the campaign. Honestly, it's properly cutting edge in this scenario. As the Trafalgar, it's fresh out of the dockyard. Well, we're looking okay so far. Now we wait. I've just lost sight of our own torpedo around there, which is where it was, I think, probably. Well, you can see the end of the trail there, but by now it must be around here-ish. Slowly catching up. My main concern is that when it goes active and starts going in snake mode, it's going to lose a bit of ground potentially, because it's going to slow down in a straight line when it starts doing that. We just don't know what's going to happen now, though, really, until we either hear it go kaboom or the submarine goes kaboom. Well, we probably won't hear it go kaboom. We'll just be sitting here waiting still. And I'll be thinking, I probably should have exploded by now. But there we go. Oh. There we go. It worked. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see an explosion because I wasn't able to focus on the torpedo, with it being out of my sensor range. But there you go. Poor buggers didn't know what hit them. Down they go. Say hello to HMS Hood for me while you're down there, mate. Anyway. So. Job's a good one. Little light down here is green. Apparently, I was told in the comments, this little light down here that's sometimes green and sometimes red, that is the light that shows up that lets you know if you're able to disengage safely from the area via the escape menu. I didn't know that was a thing, so much thanks to whoever pointed that out. There we go. Leave combat. 1 Charlie 2 sunk. Crew proficiency increased. Mission hopefully accomplished. Cobb Sublant was very happy to hear about your recent success, Commander. The excellent work of you and your crew will be rewarded upon your next port visit. Well done. Stand by for new orders on this downlink. Fair weather friends, aren't they, Cobb Sublant, really? Soviet subs hit. Incidents involving attacks on transatlantic convoys by hostile submarines in and around the English Channel have not been as numerous as initially anticipated. An anonymous spokesperson suggested increased NATO submarine operations in the area are a contributing factor. However, the Pentagon has denied such claims. Without the threat of attack from submarines, transatlantic crossings are becoming more efficient and suffering fewer losses. If this improved influx of supplies and war materials can be sustained, NATO forces will be in a position to more effectively stem the Russian onslaught. Alright, what's next? Reports indicate that a Soviet diesel-electric tax subs are interdicting shipping along the Norwegian coast. Oh, goody. Or diesel-electrics. Hell's bells. Sometimes I prefer going after a Victor, because at least you can hear it. Several vital cargo vessels have been sunk within the last 24 hours. It is imperative that these subs be stopped before inflicting more damage. Intelligence believes the pack may consist of 2 to 4 submarines. Primary objective, patrol area Blue 49. Locate and sink any enemy attack submarines operating in this zone. Right. They say Blue 49, but they also say it's shipping along the Norwegian coast, so... But I guess our explicit orders are sink any enemy attack submarines in Blue 49. Outside of Blue 49, apparently, we don't care. So I'm going to interpret it to the letter. Our crew proficiency is seasoned, 9 out of 40. Not bad. Some nice little tiny stat boosts here and there. Self-noise reduction I do like. That's a very nice stat. And the reloads I like as well. The noisemaker reloads. Everything else is a bit like whatever. Okay, exo status report. Let's reload that tube and continue on course. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you very much for tuning in. This might have been a bit of a short episode, but I'm okay with that. I needed a short, simple, sweet, stealthy sinking of a Charlie submarine today. After the stress of the previous episode in this series, and needing to shake the rust off a bit. That was nice, and also the game threw me a bone there actually after putting me in some pretty poor circumstances to meet the last two missions it gave us. So yeah, unfortunately, the SOSUS net here has been disabled, and the Soviets have taken Andoya, which will also disable the SOSUS net that was up here. So it's going to get increasingly difficult to track down those red subs and surface groups, unfortunately. Blue, which was the one they wanted us at? Blue 49. I thought that was out here somewhere, but no, Blue 49 is actually there. Okay. Righto, so we'll be making our way down there next time, everybody, to try and find those diesel subs. Until then, thanks very much for tuning in. I will endeavour to get another one of these episodes out as soon as humanly possible. I'm actually going to try and record a whole bunch in the same day, actually. Is my plan, really. Get a bunch of episodes done so I can release them at regular intervals. That's sort of the plan, you see. So, yeah. Until then, folks, thanks very much for tuning in. And I'll catch you next time. Toodaloo.